which is with a candle blessing, because we bring in our sacred time with light.
I blow the candle out.
All right, apparently there are QR codes on your table that will have an abridged or highlights from what we call the Haggadah, the text that we use for Passover. So if you want to follow along in the English and the Hebrew, I'll announce the pages. I don't think I put the candle lighting in there because I didn't. Maybe I did. We have page 3. All right, good, thank you. So on page 3, what we do, we bring in every sacred time period in the Jewish tradition with a blessing over light. And next time we will discuss more about the nature of light, the practice of candle lighting, but I'm just going to light them, and I'll say the traditional blessing. And I will only say one reason we bring in sacred time with light, the lighting of candles, is to remind us that this time that we are gathering, holy time is always meant to enlighten. And so we use outside rituals, outside reminders to hopefully kindle something within. It's not just holy time that we celebrate together, it's holy time to bring greater light within, so we can bring greater light within the world. So I'm going to light the candles. Maybe. There we go. And traditionally, you don't have to. Traditionally, we stand but it's fine. It's fine, don't worry. And in the Jewish tradition, we also when we light, we do a motion. We bring in the light circle 3 times, bringing it in. And we would all be doing this if this were not here. We'd all have candles, and we would be doing it because it's important not just to witness, but to participate in the ritual of bringing light within. So we will all circle together 3 times, bringing it into the heart and mind and the eyes. 2, 3. And then we close our eyes and we cover our eyes. And we say, Bo Baruch Ato Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvosav, V'tzivanu l'hadlik neshel yamaytai. Say, blessed are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe. Sanctified us with his commandments, commanded us concerning the kindling of the holiday lights. And I hope you take that ritual practice. You don't have to engage in the form, but I hope you take that wisdom, that teaching of light that is without, and make sure you're bringing it within. Because your sacred time is just as beautiful and as holy as mine. You don't have this in the right way. And it's meant, you can hear okay? And it's meant to bring greater light within. If you just go through your Holy Sabbath, or Christmas, or Easter, and there's not greater light, you've missed the purpose, which is to bring that into here. So we can bring this enlightened heart, and mind, and eyes, enlightened eyes, so we can see greater light within the world and bring more light. On page 4 on both sides, but 4 of the Haggadah. What we're going to do tonight, and I mean, we're going to do an abridged version, a very abridged version. Normally this would be lasting until 1, 2, 3 in the morning. we would be discussing, we would be singing, we would be reflecting on words that seem very simple, rituals that seem very basic. But when we begin to explore them, or in the language that your tradition uses, ponder, when we begin to ponder, we begin to uncover deeper layers of insight, deeper layers of soul that can heal and inspire. So we're going to do a few highlights. And I'm sorry up front that we're not doing more, but I'm grateful for wherever we get to. Wherever we get through, that's what's critical. And I hope that however far we go in, however far we move through the text, that ultimately it leaves you moved in a way that is almost transformative. I go through this not just as an academic ritual with practice. Our Passover comes this Saturday evening, but I take this as a true meditation for that holy sacred time. On page 4, we begin with something very unique in the Jewish tradition. All of our holidays, we start off with candles and with blessings. But no practice, or no ritual, no holiday has the ritual practice of singing all the stages in advance. This is the holiday or the festival of redemption from Egypt. And we have the 15, I know here it says 14, but number 7 is really 2 stages. I don't know why they made it 14, but it's 15 steps. And we go through all of these steps in this evening, but this is the only time where we have a list of the goals. It is, each one of these is a goal in the process of redemption. We are here going through each step, each one of the stages in redemption. And I think in this case why the rabbis have this as a unique practice, a beginning, middle, and the end of our holiday meal, is because in terms of redemption, when we are in exile, we are lost and we have no direction, we have no focus, often even no hope. We don't know where to go, and we simply are lost. And so what the rabbis have done wisely is give us the stages of redemption, which aren't going to make sense as you read them. How is washing the hands the state of redemption? We'll discuss a few of them. But in your own lives, when you are in exile, when you feel that state of alienation from life, or from soul, or from family, or from our Maker, our Holy One, find the steps that lead you ultimately to that place of redemption. Because if you know the end, you'll make it there. It's that proverbial light at the tunnel. And so we begin it with a chant. We don't just say, many people just say it. Many chant it. There are many different melodies. Some of them are a little more peppy, and some of them are more internal. And I'm going to sing one that's more internal. Because redemption, when we are in exile, is something that we're not just analyzing with our mind. When we are seeking redemption, when we are seeking to find hope and light again, that's something deeply, deeply personal and intimate and emotional. And it has to have a melody that calls us into that place, that calls us into the awareness of I am in exile right now, and we all are to some extent. But the melody can help guide us back into a place of light and hope. So the 15, again, I know it says 14, but number 7 is 2. So on page 4, we say, Kadesh Urchat, Karapos Yachot, Mamagid Rochto, Mavaiti Mato, Maror Kairech, Shuvchan Reich, Tavafun Barech, Hallel Nivto. You're in exile, find a melody It helps resonate within. There's nothing better than melody to give you hope in life. Melody has no words, but it gives you vision. When we have song, melody, it gives us a little hope to continue. And if we were, again, if we were at home, we would be chanting this over and over again to find that melody in our own exile. Because exile is a dark place. And we need song to help us through our way. The rabbis, when they speak of exile, our historic exile is Egypt. Mitzrayim, Hebrew. The rabbis poetically also, it's my phrasing, but this is their idea. Nobody here is in Egypt right now. We're not slaves in Egypt. We're not in exile from our own self, from our own homeland. So that's historic Egypt. But there's also a metaphoric Egypt. The metaphoric Egypt is our own personal place of loss and hopelessness that we all suffer as we go through life. And so what we would each be doing as we chant this melody, ya, 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 we would be finding our way back to song, even though we are still in that place of exile. It's a beautiful, beautiful insight and hope for life, that we can still have song and melody, even though we are without a home. We are broken. And we have, at times, no hope. Melody will bring us back to hope. So find your song. Find your song. And again, at a traditional Seder, what would normally happen is somebody from around the tables would begin a conversation. Here's where my melody is lost because of this circumstance in life. I just lost my mother. I just found out I'm suffering from fill in the blank. I just am in such a dark place. I need help finding my melody. And we would all then come together and try and culture and cultivate this melody within. So it's a very, very intimate practice, at least for those who go in. And I'm sorry we can't, because I've got a room full of 1,000 saints. And boy, oh boy, could we learn from each other this evening. But we're learning from each other's presence. Your light is giving, these lights aren't what is lighting the room here, folks. It's that light that you're shining. So that's what we would do, and God willing, maybe next year somehow we'll do this again, and we'll get to do it so we can hear your voices too. And if somebody does need at any point during our ritual practice here this evening of going through these words, if somebody needs to speak, please. I don't need to speak. I'm here for you. We're all here for you. So now what we do, where's the grape juice? I need a cup of grape juice. Okay, we'll share. My sister Monica, in the, your sense,
It's an extra.
It's an extra?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
that we have.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to go through the whole blessing. It's a long one because of time, but I'll let you hear a little bit of the melody of our holiday blessings. So we're on page 5. We'll start at line where it says number 8. Either in the English, praised are you, or blessed are you, or Baruch atah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. You can all say amen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha banu mikol olam, v'rei mamanu mikol hashem, v'kiddishanu b'mitzvah v'yisov, v'atitei lanu Adonai Eloheinu v'yahavot. Vayadim l'simcha, Hagim l'zmanim l'sasoin, Es Yom Chag HaMatzah Hazeh, Zman Chayv Yuseinu, Mikra Kaidesh, Zerga L'tzias Mitzrayim, and it goes on and on. What we do now, I'm going to give a little overview, but I wanted to get us in for a moment. What we do now, for those who have, for those who don't, I'm with you. We sit, well, we're all sitting. When we sit, we drink a small amount. This is supposed to be 4 cups. So we're just going to take a symbolic swig, but we lean. And I want you to keep that word in mind, we lean. So, as you're leaning, and as you take your swig, your little sip, I want you to focus on the idea of leaning, which we're going to come back to. Leaning into. To the left, leaning to the left. I think that was wine. Just kidding. Monica, I love you. The holiday we are celebrating today is Passover. What I hope to do, again, as we go through a few highlights, is do something slightly different than what I normally do at our own Passover Seder. Seder is what we call this meal. Is we always have other faith communities, Christians included. So I always do discuss the gospel parallels and the Pauline parallels with the Passover meal that we're going through. So we're going to go through some of that also this evening. I'm going to try to show you some ancient gospel parallels that you may have missed because you just simply don't realize this is what we do as Jews to this day. We did it before Jesus and we still do. But this holiday of Passover, the biblical name is Chag HaMatzot. Chag HaMatzah is, if you speak Yiddish like me, Yiddish Hebrew. That's the biblical name. And there is something very significant about the biblical name here that you have to take to heart. In Judaism, names are not just what something is called. It didn't just happen to be called Chag HaMatzot, the festival of the unleavened bread. What the rabbis do with names is something very profound and beautiful. They make it not into what it's called, but what it's calling you into, what it's calling you to be. It's part of an overall spiritual practice and vision. So the name Chag HaMatzot means the festival of unleavened bread. That's the biblical name. There's 2 other names we'll get to in a moment. But the biblical name, Festival of Unleavened Bread. The rabbis teach, as does the New Testament, most of the writers were Jewish, so they're naturally going to have this understanding. Leaven represents pride. Unleavened bread symbolically represents humility. So the first holiday that we have biblically, the Jewish Bible, the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, is the festival of unleavened bread. And what that teaches us is it symbolizes humility. Symbolizes humility. Because it's teaching us that if you want to have a sacred practice, foundationally there has to be a humble heart. Because if you're not grounded in humility, there can be no place for the presence of the other and of the divine. So what this holiday represents foundationally, yes, it's about the Exodus from Egypt, but on a spiritual level, the name is indicating that we have a deep practice here that is in the name itself, that we have to have if we want to develop deep intimacy with the divine, deep intimacy with soul. There has to be a deep and enduring presence of humility within. So we call it that. But the next name that the rabbis give it is Zman Cheruseinu. It's the time of the festival of our freedom. Chelut. What that's telling us also is that for all of us, we all have sacred time, but this one specifically, if you're not leaving internally with some greater place, some greater space within, that's giving you a grander sense of being, a place of release, a place of freedom within, regardless of your external surroundings, you're missing an element of the holiday. It's not just about going through all the rituals. It's a time of inner release, not just historic release from Egypt, but also freedom from within. And this is true for all sacred practice and sacred time. There has to be an internal release. This holiday specifically, it's grounded in humility. And when we ground ourselves in this grand beauty of humility, then it opens up within this place of enduring freedom. We become eternally free. And the final name is the common name, Passover, Pesach, which has to do with leaping over. And the idea is that if we go through this sacred time together, and I'll relate it to the New Testament in a few moments, but if we go together through this ritual practice that is in this text, or in your own sacred practice, ultimately, there should be you in a new place. You should be in a new place because of the rituals that you've encountered, the holiness that you've experienced. You should leap. You should be moved, metaphorically, into a new place. That's a brief summary, or at least one way of summarizing the three names of this holiday that we're going to go through with some of these rituals. There is a hand ritual that we're going to do now. We said Kadesh, that was the holiness, the blessing of the wine. Now it's Urchatz, hand washing. We would normally wash our hands. There's two washings in this one. This is a different washing. And if you look at your text, you'll see that it says Urchatz. If you look on page 4, I won't be that much longer, dear. That's what everybody feels, don't worry. Surprised it took that long. Usually you guys are all kind. So if you look at the number 2 on page 4, it says Kadesh Urchatz, wash hands. This is the only word that has a little line in front of it with a dot, an and. It says sanctify or recite the Kiddush and wash. It's the only one that has a connection, this and this. Because what it's telling you, I think, it's saying sanctity is the calling. Kadesh means you are being called into holy life, holy living. The next one is washing, specifically washing the hands. Why the connection? Holy blessing, calling you into holy life, and hand washing. Why not and with anything else? I think the idea is that hands in many traditions, Judaism included, are the way we engage in the world. So with this and, what it's telling us is that the holy call that we have, which is Kadesh, be holy, sanctify. But make sure it is also be holy, and make sure it is in your hands. That it's a holy calling that is lived in your action, through your hands, through how you engage with the world. Not just holy meditation, holy reflections, but holy action through your hands. How are we engaging with the world? We're not going to do the hand washing today because we can't go around and have everybody wash their hands right now. But what we will do is there's parsley on your table. There's parsley, it's called karpas. We're going to dip this green vegetable into this little salt water cup right here. We're going to dip it, and we're going to say a blessing. Some lean, some don't. The water is salty. The vegetable itself represents spring. Green represents life. Again, some lean, some don't. If you want to lean, you're welcome to lean. If you don't, fine. I don't lean a person. But the idea of the salt is it's a reminder of our tears in exile. And these aren't just the historic, again, tears that we experienced in Egypt, the exile back then. This is in our own lives. How often are we failing to come out of the Egypt that is binding us today? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's an unhealthy behavioral pattern. We all have places that are metaphorically like Egypt, that we are enslaved, that we are in bondage to. What the parsley represents, and by the way, that's not a Hebrew word, karpas, it's Greek word. The only of the 15, it's the only Greek word in there, and it's intentional. The idea, I think, is that we know salt water represents our exile and the pain of an unfulfilled and an unredeemed life. The green, the parsley, that represents his life, represents life and hope. And what we say here, at least this is the rabbinic model, is that even though right now our experience seems nothing but a veil of tears, we're drowning in tears, there's still the nourishing spring that awaits. We have tears, we have sorrow. That's not our end. There is still spring, there is still something green, still something nourishing, still something wholesome. It can come into life and into our hearts to help keep us going. Because if we can only see these tears in life, we're not going to make it out of our exile. So we sit, or I sit, and we say a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, vayirei pri ha'adama. We dip this life potential in the sorrow of our life. And you either lean into that sorrow, or you sit with the awareness and the hope that there is something renewing. And I'm going to internalize that. It's not just a meditation. It's something I'm going to take in deeply so that it nourishes me. So meditate on something in life that has caused you tears. And then find something like spring, where new life begins, to help you through this period of sorrow and tears. And what we would do if we were at our traditional Seder, somebody would begin saying, here are the tears of my life. And trust me, we all have it. We just have to scratch. We can put barriers up, but I promise you, give me 5 minutes with a person, with any person, including me, and I'll find what we all are suffering from, which is pain, loss, struggle, hopelessness, sorrow. And so we would begin talking about not the tears that are represented in the cup. Here are real tears in my life. Here's where I'm hurting. And I can't find any spring. I can't find that spring of parsley in life. I have a child. This is an example, not mine. We all know somebody who has a child. Own child. Who's not well. Who needs healing. Our hearts are with that person. We may not have an answer, but hopefully we can bring a little bit of that nourishing spring, that nourishing green, that nourishing parsley, nourishing hope to another person. And it doesn't just happen here. When we leave and you see somebody whose life is sorrow, do we just walk by? Or do we have words that can help bring renewal? Or at least to let them know we are present. You're not alone. This is how we live the wisdom of these rituals when we leave this Passover meal. So this is a very profound, for me, very profound ritual. That tragically in many Seders and many Sedarim, many Passover meals, doesn't go in. We all need nourishing presence. We all need it, because we all have tears that we're often drowning in, even if we deny it, even if we harden our hearts so that we don't feel it. Where's my boss? My boss is, okay, that way? Okay, I pretend I didn't see him so we can go. We now come to the third. If you look again on page 4, we're at Kadesh Ruchatz, fourth, Karkas Yachatz. So we just spoke of tears. Not the tears back then, but our own tears that tear us apart. We now come, again, you don't have it, and we would do a few things, but, and I need a child to come up here in a moment. I'll need one more napkin. If someone could grab me an extra napkin. Anybody? No. We're going to break this middle matzah. We have 3 matzahs here, 3 flatbreads. And it's significant that we break the middle. It's significant. Because it's speaking of core. And everything that happens here in this Seder, this meal, is also happening here. It's not just matzah. It's not just karpas. It's not just salt water there. It's our tears. It's our renewal. We're going to take the middle piece of matzah and we break it. We keep one piece that is larger for us, one piece that's smaller we put back. The idea here is that at our core, at our heart, in our heart, at our core, we are broken. Thank you. We are broken. And we break it there to remind us that we are broken here, or that somebody is truly broken before us. We often simply walk by and see them as whole, or see ourselves as whole even though we're broken within. How can we bring back wholeness to that brokenness? It's always the calling. It's always where we need to be. This larger piece is going to be hidden, and the kids here are going to find it. So there's a larger piece here. It's called the afikomen. There's a smaller piece there. There's a smaller piece of brokenness here. But there's a larger piece of brokenness here that's going to be hidden. And it's called the dessert. We're going to see your dessert, kids. Aren't you happy you came? Okay, here's my boss. Okay. Okay, maybe that'd be a better way. Then we can just think, you know what, maybe we'll just do it while they eat. Talk while we eat. Okay, so I'll finish with this one, because we got started late and we have no time anyways. So what we're going to do is, let me break everybody's heart a little more. Okay. And then we'll start with a little food. I asked where my boss was just a few minutes ago. Everybody know Reverend Downey here? She's lovely. The brokenness here and the brokenness there are 2 different types of brokenness. If we only have that smaller piece of brokenness in our core, which we all have, that's all we can see. We're not going to make it out. Not of that Egypt, but of our own exile, from our own place, from our own light. What we do with this piece, and again, this is called the dessert. After you eat this, you don't eat anything else. This is the last taste in your mouth. It's called the afikomen, another Greek word. It's 2 Greek words. What we do is we hide this. Somebody's going to hide it. And somebody who is younger is going to search for it. Why? Because the beauty here is that the brokenness that is here is real. It's real. But the wholeness that makes life, what makes life whole again, is this piece. It's also broken, but it's the larger piece. There is a larger piece of brokenness that is out there that we have to search for and take back. That will bring us back to that original wholeness that we all have, but that is broken by life. If that's all we have as far as our vision, that's our only light, it's a dark way to live. I am simply broken, and it's a small, small piece. And there's nothing that's going to make me whole again. But knowing that this piece is somewhere out there, I have no idea where, this will make that piece of brokenness have a little bit of life, have a little bit of hope. And if I go searching, I can find it. And the reason we have the child do it, even though it represents all of us, the reason we have the children go and search is because we're trying to teach our children, always look for that one piece that will bring back a greater sense of wholeness to your brokenness that you're going to experience. And again, if this were smaller, well, I'm glad it's not smaller, but if we could go until 5 in the morning, we would go around the tables and we would talk about our individual brokenness in our core, in that central piece of matzah, in our central being. And then we would remind each other and encourage each other that we're going to go and search for that one piece, or those many pieces that are out there to bring us back to wholeness. And that's why it's dessert. That's why we eat nothing after, because we want this to be the last taste in our mouth, that no matter how broken I am right now, no matter how hopeless things might seem, there is a greater piece of brokenness that can connect and redeem my brokenness and bring healing so that I can continue. And that is the holiest gift you can give to your children, to remind them that when life breaks you, son and daughter, there is something out there that will bring wholeness again. Because of time, we're going to start the main part of the Passover discussion. We got to get you guys eating. But maybe while we're eating, we can go through a few things. I think that's a brilliant way of doing it. And this way they won't cart me off and put me in outer darkness. Gnashing of teeth. But we can't get through much. And you can see why. I mean, I'm just going to ask, well, I'm making 2 minutes. Is there anybody here right now? I'm just going to pick one person. You raise your hand. And if it's not you, I'll do it. This isn't a place where we have to be concerned about, I can't admit that I'm not whole. I can't admit that life isn't perfect. This is a time where we start off acknowledging, as you're going to see in the next portion, it's a painful period that we are in, and life is often painful and tragic. Is there something right now that somebody is going through, and you feel that brokenness is simply too much, and I didn't even know there's another piece out there, and now that I know, I still don't know how to even go and find it. How can I make my way through to find that peace that will help bring healing to my heart, to my life, to my vision? It's not easy, and you're not alone. And that's why the Seder meal takes so long if you do it right. Because we leave just as broken as we were. Nothing is redeemed when we finish the evening, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Except my vision and my mind and my heart and my soul knows that there is a peace. There is a piece of this miserable bread. This is dessert? Are you kidding me? Yes, I will find sweetness even in this. And this is what's going to bring me the inspiration and the guidance to go. It's guiding me. I don't know where it is, but it's guiding me. It's calling me. If there's anybody out there, I would love to have something of a Passover discussion. It says the more you discuss, the better things are. Oh, you're right. Thank you. Things get lost with me, especially in time. So we're going to do that later, maybe. Right now, we're going to start letting folks go and grab some food, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little more, and I think we'll get through a little more than we would have, because otherwise we'd have to stop now. So we'll eat and I'll talk, and kids will cry, and then we'll give them the dessert and make them cry more. So let's start with that. Don't let any of this go by. Keep it all here. Remember leaning, remember leaven. We're going to come back to that in the Gospels in a little bit. But let's start going. I'm going to change. They said we're just going to do it table by table. I want everybody to make a mad rush. No, we're not? Okay, I've been overruled. Let's go a few tables by. How are we going out?
So
Going out
we're
this
going to
door?
go 1, 2, 3, going out this door, and then
Is there food
1,
out there?
2, 3, going out this door. Yes, there's food on all sides.
Food on all sides. Oh, I got to
So-
bring the soup out.
14 minutes.
We already-
That's going in.
Okay, folks. So
So
we'll
please
let you
wait
know
for
when.
your table to be selected.
So, shall we?
That was like, what about us?